Welcome to She Lives, where magic and mystery become the blueprint and path to creating a new reality, deeply rooted in the essence of your soul. Join me as we hear, feel, and see through lenses and senses of intuitive wisdom and soul-based leadership. This is the She Lives podcast. Episode 4. Finding Yourself in the Forbidden Forest, Mystery and Magic. Hello, my name is Hazel Evans and this is the She Lives podcast. In this episode today, walk with me as we take a path into the Forbidden Forest to welcome the gifts of this exquisite, enchanting landscape, weaving in the great wisdom of what exactly could be forbidden, and bring it to light and life by taking the journey with Baba Yaga, the great witch spirit of the sacred woods, by walking a pilgrimage, and yes, that's right, even the teddy bear's picnic. We also explore the possibility of communing with trees and receiving nature wisdom to guide you on your way. So I ask, what could you possibly find here in the forest, physical or metaphysical? It is a landscape that offers an invitation into initiation, part of the hero or heroine's journey, the promise of potential transformation if you come out the other side into the light of day, alive, soul intact. So today we go down to the forest. Maybe you're in for a big surprise, for every fear that ever there was can gather there for certain, because today is the day the forest is a feast for the soul. Discover the wisdom of the forest, the inhabitants, the birds and the bees, animals and nature creatures, stones, herbs, mushrooms, flowers and the trees themselves, all wisdom keepers with great guidance available. If you just stop long enough to take notice, open, and let the voice of Mother Earth speak through you. And maybe today you will find another part of yourself, perhaps a piece you didn't even know was missing. Pieces that would not heed to conformity or compliance of injustice, the wild side of you that you felt perhaps you had to banish to far-off landscapes within the realms of your body and psyche, so you could just get on with a regular life and fit in. Your banished, wild, sacred and sovereign, just like the scorned in myths and legends and history, who get banished from the kingdom and have to make it on their own out in the wilderness of the real life that is nature, soul-led life. So, what can I offer you today? I can offer you songs, poems, anecdotes of nature wisdom, and a transmission to invite you from knowledge into a deeper sense of embodied wisdom, and an invitation on a journey of learning to listen and adhere to the call of your intuition, your inner forbidden forest that is longing to take you on a journey of a lifetime, a sacred path that only you can walk to return to the soul of your world, living your purpose by allowing yourself to go off the beaten track and into the wilderness, invoking life-changing opportunities for the better. The forest invites you to find yourself outside of your comfort zones, and to find your true self in the uncomfortability of ongoing change. For the forest never looks the same. The light is consistently changing, shadows shifting, seasons cycling, through the growth, death, decay, stillness. Then the whispers of new life with emerging life force, the new spring alive with sensual awakening, enchanting you into the wonder. What else is possible now? To let the wonder take you on a deep, mysterious and magical journey where there is no going back. So, do you have a spring in your step? Maybe you have stumbled upon the hidden path and you are curious as to where it leads. Ready to embody the wisdom of your deep, innate nature. Ever-present wisdom keeper, the sacred sovereign, in the forbidden forest. Come with me. Maybe you will stumble upon something that catches your attention today. I stumbled on the crumples that drew me in, taken by the forest and absorbed within. Trees thin and tall reaching into the sky. Thin, tall trees speaking tales in time. Let's begin. Firstly, in the title of this podcast, when I say finding yourself in the forbidden forest, I want to ask you, how do you find yourself here today? Where are you on the path of the greatest journey of your lifetime, your life? Do you find yourself here unexpectedly in life-changing circumstances by accident? All of a sudden waking up in the midst of unknown, seemingly chaotic territory? On the outside world, this can be a result of big life-changing circumstances where you can go no further but to face inwards. Maybe this is due to a relationship crisis, a breakup, maybe some kind of loss or big unforeseen rupture on the course of how your life was, but now it will never be the same, and you're invited to change from the inside out. So now you can make change for the better, because you're changing the inside world as you find yourself unexpectedly here, having to face walking into the forbidden forest. Or maybe you're a bit further along the path, already finding and recovering forbidden parts of yourself already that you had previously banished, perhaps due to some kind of trauma, perhaps because it was some kind of conforming, aka selling parts of your soul in order to try and fit in, be a good housewife, a good mother, a good daughter, a good colleague, etc., even when it just didn't feel right. But now you are already on your journey and you are embodying your life and the wisdom that comes along the way, and you've already started retrieving your gifts, your talents and your life force after having already slayed many trolls and goblins from the past enslavements of your joy and well-being. The path to your heart and to freedom is that which you are already walking. So, wherever you find yourself joining me today, we walk together into the forest for this podcast. And I ask, so what are the forbidden parts of you that you have kept from the world because it wasn't safe for you to bring them out before? What dreams have you given up on, or forebode, or banished? What gifts, artistry, talents are you hiding somewhere inside, refusing to give the light of day or give voice to? What kind of singing, dancing, playing the piano? What aspect of beauty, integrity, or pure passionate life force, what creations have you banished to this sacred forbidden forest that you're now ready to go in and find, reclaim, and bring to the light of day? Is it in devoting your time to caring for people and animals? Is it something humanitarian? Is it for the greater of good? What passions are you hiding that can be of service to the world? To make the world a happier place because you are making yourself happier. So this invitation is to follow the resonance of joy and passion, and you will find out, and that will become your path of light through the dark, through the challenges, through everything, to create resilience, to follow the passion, to follow the essence of what brings you joy, no matter what. So wherever you are at on your journey, you are always welcome as we take a few steps together today. I hope this podcast inspires you to delve a bit deeper into the wonder of the forest that is inside of you, calling upon the forest from the outside world to offer guidance on how to do this, then discovering what it all means to you. So let's take a moment together. Just close your eyes for a moment as we master and learn how to tap into these inner landscapes. Where are you in your inner landscape in relation to the forest within you? Are you standing on the edge, scared to go in? Or have you just stepped in and have started exploring? Are you strolling along a path illuminated by the warming rays of the sun? Are there butterflies and birds dancing alongside you? Are there flowers and trees speaking to you? Is the light enchanting? Or are you deep in the forest? Is it dark? Are you exploring the depths of the twisted vines? Have you fallen into a mud pit? Are you surrounded by wolves? Is it wild and dark? Are you hiding for safety in a cave? Have you met a guide inside who is helping you on your way? Or can you see the light of an opening up ahead as you are on your final stretch to find your way out? Let's take a few deep breaths together so that you can see where you are in this sacred forest that is within you. See yourself. Where are you standing in relation to your sacred forest? How do you feel? What do you see? And what message does the forest have for you today? Just take a moment to write or to draw what you felt or saw or heard. Open up your journal and allow the wisdom of the paper that once was wood in a forest to support you, and your pencil or the ink in your pen to write the words of this wisdom of the forest today. let's move on to getting a bit deeper into the journey, meeting the mystery and magic of the forest. Mystery. Now, forests are used in literature and film to symbolize mystery and the incredible landscapes of what could happen in these places that are dense sometimes, that are magical sometimes, that have hidden things in them. There's always something to be found. Some of my favourite stories and films are such as Big Fish. I absolutely love it when he is walking through the forest and the forest is coming alive, and knowing that he's going to get through to the other side of the forest no matter what. I love that so much. And then obviously we have in films such as The Hobbit, it's such a powerful part of the hero's journey to go through the forest. And then in other stories such as Red Riding Hood, all of the wisdom of meeting different animals that could cause fear or be problematic, and the meanings around all of these fairy tales that take us into the woods. So the mystery, the forest, creates a suspense, and it creates a sense of unexpected. What could be beyond the next part of the path? Can I see around the corner or not? What is ahead? And there is a sense of having to surrender into the unknown, because sometimes we can't see, and sometimes it's just, like they say, you can't see the wood for the trees. You can't see the bigger picture, and sometimes that can feel quite scary. And this is where the invitation comes to knowing, can you take yourself, can you support yourself on your own inward journey? And if you can't, at the moment, what tools do you need in order to help you become more resilient in journeying into your inside world? So there's an invitation to be somewhat prepared for the unexpected at any time, because the great mystery of the forest presents to us that there could always be a danger lurking around the next corner. A wolf or a stag or a poisonous plant or whatever it could be. There's also a sense sometimes of safety in the mystery of the forest. There's all of it there. For example, there's this protection from the weather with the forest canopy that is also a protection that keeps you in. But also sometimes it opens up to the sky to bring new life. As you can see the tall trees reaching into the skies, reaching up into the greater wisdom that is beyond, so that they can get more light upon their leaves. So sometimes there's safety and sometimes there's unsafety. And sometimes the fear that's lurking is the fear that is within inside of ourselves, that all of a sudden comes out when we don't feel safe. So the question is, how can you feel safe? How can you become the most resilient, where you can go anywhere on your journey and know that you can get through anything? Because also the forest provides refuge and places to hide when you're tired or just need to stop and reflect for a while. So sometimes the danger is there, and sometimes it is not. Sometimes it's all within us, the goblins and the ghouls lurking in the roots of the trees or behind a rock. So that's my invitation. How does this essence of forest mystery work within you? And that moves us on to magic. So the forest is also magical. It is an invitation to go out somewhere exciting, even if you're just going into the woods or the forest to walk your dog. How can you look at the magic of the forest in a different way today? It's an invitation to take time out and nature in the forest, particularly in the deep forest, is a place where she has taken her rightful place without human interference. And that's often where we see the magic alive, where different plants and fungi are all working together in some kind of magical ecosystems, where we have the macro and the micro all going on. And this is such magic to get down onto your hands and knees and observe the moss and the insects and everything that's going on there. And so this gives a sense of anything is possible in the forest. There might even be fairies there or magical creatures. So there is an opportunity to let the imagination ignite and to take you somewhere else. Perhaps a bit like Narnia, where you walk through a door to another realm and there you're met by magical creatures. So the magic is also to learn how to meet the gentleness of nature, as well as the great force of nature that creates great change. But the gentleness and the power and the wisdom of nature that brings us medicines in the plants, the herbs, the mushrooms, the trees, and to learn from nature as guidance, perhaps to take a path as the medicine woman. The magic is always an invitation of transformation, and the forest, being a magical place, invites change, because you step from being in the light outside of the forest into the darkness of the forest. So that is an immediate change. And then there is chaos, there is the unknown, there is the, like I said, what is lurking around the next corner. There is perhaps, if you go off the beaten track, there is logs you need to walk over, there is ravines you need to cross. Goodness knows what kind of chaos happens at any moment. And then there is creation, there is leadership, there is, okay, how am I going to get through to the other side of this forest? How am I going to get out? And that in the metaphysical world of our internal forest is, okay, I've gone to go and see what parts of me I need to retrieve and how am I going to get out? And sometimes you need to be creative about that and do things differently. Because change is powerful, and this is kind of sometimes where we think of magic and miracles, because all of a sudden we've gone through big life changes and then all of a sudden it's magic because something happens and it's like, yes, I did it. I came out the other side and I've done it and I've conquered my demons and I've done it. And this is where you know that you've made big life changes that impact in a good way. So change is powerful and it is magic, and this is the medicine of the forest as well, because it encourages you to not stay the same, is to go out for a walk within the realms of your soul. So if you are feeling the call for adventure, lean in to the mystery and magic and create change. Like they say, be the change you wish to see in the world. And the medicine of the forest helps us lean into gathering tools for how we can do that and apply it to everyday life. So the forest and the woods, with all its mystery and magic, are a powerful symbol and a way to spark the imagination, spark the inspiration and the intuition. And as with everything, I talk a lot about creation and how important creation is. And here in particular, we're leaning into storytelling, the magic and the art of storytelling, the stories of the woods, and the stories that bring great transmissions of wisdom for transformation. The stories that get told and revealed through the journeys of these inner worlds. This is where the inspiration is ignited. So whenever you take yourself on a journey, you will come out the other side and have wisdom that you can share about this. Wisdom to inspire and guide others so that they may become their greatest guides and also take an amazing inspirational journey of their lives. So this is the magic and the mystery and the art of storytelling that comes alive when we dare to take a journey that we've never done before. Enveloping, twisting, and churning out, spouting secret stories we're all about, illuminating shapes, inscribing sounds, murmuring roots from the underground. Wander away, drift away, deep into the paper forest and play. Whiteness dancing in the whispering breeze, blackness transcribbling words on trees. The paper forest spoke softly to me and asked me to write my story. So I walked the path, kissed by leaves, drawing sang and caressed my sleeves, dancing the pictures into the light. Shadows emerged, smiling bright. Wander away, as the trees led the way, deep into the paper forest to play. These sacred stories of your own internal landscapes are your stories alone to be written, and these are the pages of your life. This is the inspirational source that comes from within you. As all stories have magic and mystery, and in one way are offering a message of how to meet an even greater expression of yourself each time, a greater expression of your heart than when you started the beginning of the story or the journey. So taking this journey into the woods is about being the huntress in the magic and mysterious forest, daring to go off the beaten track, daring to find what is in resonance with you, retrieving any forbidden and banished parts of your soul, and retrieving the gold in you. So I'm going to read a little bit from my book, my cyclical book called I Am Divine. It's a beautiful guidance with meditations and art in order to embody the essence of all of the seasons and the different ways we can experience multi-dimensional cyclical living. And here, this is the essence of the wild maiden that says yes to the journey, that says yes to the golden life and to discover and to take the path. This is the energy of the springtime. So it's also an embodiment invitation that whenever there is spring in the year, that you can allow this energy of the huntress to come alive more within you. And also for women following the seasonal energies of their menstrual cycle, every time you come out of the bleeding phase of your menstrual cycle, you come into a new energy, a new life, a new journey. So, let's begin. She is wild and free, a shadow hunter, coming out of winter, moving into spring, and illuminating the first light of self-initiation into authentic life. She is the true essence of wild, the wild maiden, the enthusiastic explorer, free-spirited and one with nature. She is new life pulsing through the earth to become a budding flower. She is pure innocence in the awakening of her own innate wisdom, to live her soul purpose and share her gifts in this lifetime. She experiences pure joy, playfulness, fearlessness, and trust of being in life, knowing that she is love. She learns that choosing her responsibilities lead to freedom, and she navigates her life learning her personal boundaries through the eyes of love. She is the opening portal to the sacred physical body and makes a promise to herself to shine and choose for her golden life. So this is a beautiful essence of some of the joy and playfulness that comes in choosing a new journey. And even when we go deep into the forbidden forest to perhaps retrieve parts of our innocence that we have locked away in becoming adults and trying to fit into society, is when was the last time you were truly joyful, truly passionate? Because you might need to go back into the forest to retrieve the wild maiden within you and retrieve that spring energy that gives new life force to create a better reality for you, to create the next up level of your reality. So you might like to take a moment to pause this podcast and just to write about the inner landscapes. What is your forbidden forest within you? What is it that you're hiding away? What is it that you are refusing to give the light of day? And this could be the opening of going into the forbidden forest and taking your medicine pouch of magic and mystery and knowing that you can get through anything. So, how does all of this translate a bit more to you? And how can we turn that knowledge of the forest into your physical reality? Now, I'm all about embodying and creating experiences that promote that and support that embodiment. So your spiritual journey or your personal development journey just doesn't become a whole list of symptoms and remedies, that actually you embody the transformation in which you are searching. I've done this, obviously, as I talk about, through my art, and that is one of the super, super powerful portals that art creates, and any kind of artistry. Any kind of performing, any act of creation can always be a journey to incredible transformation. As well as other practical things like, okay, my relationship's not working, that needs to change. My job's not working, that needs to change. All of these things are choices in order to reorientate and realign ourselves on our soul path. So what other opportunities can you create for yourself where your outside life experiences start to support your inner life development? And this is where you might start realigning to a greater level of, where is the joy? What does joy actually mean to me? Adventure, what does adventure actually mean to me? And I'll give an example of how I've done this in my life is pilgrimage. All of my art journeys are some kind of pilgrimage in a way. They always take me in and I always come out the other side completely transformed. And there are physical ways in which I have done this in my life. And one is consciously deciding to take myself on a pilgrimage. And I did the pilgrimage of the Camino de Santiagodecompostela. And I did this on my own. I decided that I really felt like I wanted to create an experience where I knew there would be an initiation for me. And I actually did this as an art project as well. And I did it for 40 days. And one of the reasons why I did this was because I knew I wanted to face walking alone on a journey. I had this force of pilgrimage within me, and I knew that I would be facing walking passages of this journey where I would feel alone and perhaps not safe, but I knew that there was some kind of power that I would be able, and strength that I would be able to get if I decided to lean in and actually do it, and to do it on my own. And the calling was actually so strong that I couldn't delay it anymore. So I dared to go alone, and because I didn't want to miss being in anything by being in the comfort of going with friends. Now, I know that some people do choose to go with friends, and all of that's okay. But me personally, I really felt like, wow, I need to do this on my own and see what I find along the way. So in 2015, I walked my first pilgrimage, and it was 40 days from Lisbon to Santiago. And then I went on to Finisterre as well, the end of the world. It felt really important that I went to the end of the world in order to invoke that greater change. So I did it as an art project, and every day I drew a picture, and every day I did a piece of writing, and all of the sketchbook that I took with me, every single page was sold by what I called page pilgrims. So there was 40 people who accompanied me on this journey every day as I drew them a picture, and I did some writing or poetry that really described this journey. So it was also an art pilgrimage as well, because everything I seem to do turns into some kind of creative expression. So I just roll with it. So I went to the end of the world, and then obviously created a new world on the other side. What I found powerful about this was that it was at the end of my priestess initiation, and to mark the celebration of that initiation, I went directly into this pilgrimage to embody the sovereign energies that were in the final part of the training. And I really wanted to embody this sovereign energy and to walk the path of this sacred sovereign, and to deepen the embodiment of this initiation that I had just gone through, and this training process that I'd just gone through. So there was a devotional aspect to walking my own path. Once I had gone on this training, it's like, okay, and now I'm on my own, and I have to take responsibility to this big yes I have just created, to creating change in my life. So on some kind of practical levels, there was these fears, like I spoke about. There's these fears of going on the path into the forest. And I was doing this physically on the outside world, and also it was affecting me on the inside world. So I had to face fears such as I'm a woman walking alone and I don't feel safe, and the threat of being attacked, or, you know, there was like lots of fear around that, but then finding ways in which I could support and protect myself through any situation, and, you know, and the strength to become my own hero and to get through everything, and, you know, to take a sovereign journey. And that's part of this essence of the foundations of my work and my business, called the Sovereign Journey, because it's really taking these journeys and these paths each time to come to a greater sense of sovereignty and self-sovereignty within ourselves. So one of the amazing things about walking into this new experience of the pilgrimage was facing my fears of walking alone. And one day I remember I was on the edge of these woods and I didn't know how long it would take me to get through there. And there was nobody around. And the Portuguese route, there's far less walkers on it than on the French route. So there was like huge stretches where there was just no other walkers around. And particularly this was 8 years ago now. So I decided that when I first faced the first woods, I stood in front of the woods and I saw this path ahead, and there was no going back. I just had to go through it. And I had to first face the fears to step over the threshold into the forest. And I just remember going, I have to do this. I have to step into the forest. And so and then I remember I started speeding up, and I was walking faster and faster and faster through the forest, and the fear was arising, and it was like I didn't know if anybody was there. I didn't know if there's any animals that were going to attack me there. I didn't know if there's any obstacles there, but all this kind of fear, all these ghouls and goblins within my mind just started going crazy. And that's part of the darkness of the internal landscape. You know, can you face the fears? Can you face that which arises within you and choose for light, choose for resilience, choose for not entertaining those parts of the ego? So what I ended up doing was speeding up, and then I was running, and then I was like, oh, what am I doing? Like, this is supposed to be a beautiful, powerful journey. What am I doing? I got conscious in the middle of it, and then I stopped. And I stood still in the middle of the forest, and I asked myself, can I just stop and stand still in the middle of all of my fears, alone here in the forest? And I just stopped. And I stopped running away, and I stood there, and I stopped trying to get through the uncomfortable as quickly as I could. And when I stopped, I could gather my breath, and then I looked around, and I could see the beauty, and I could see the gifts of the forest, and I could feel the gift that I had given to myself, to give myself an opportunity to take this journey, this initiation, to strengthen myself and my psyche inside and out, and to take myself deeply into the mystical and magical world that was in itself this transformational experience of doing the pilgrimage. So in the presence of the stillness, as I stood there in the forest, I then became open to the sounds and the smells of the forest, the pine trees, the eucalyptus, the warmth of the forest floor in autumn in Portugal. And I took my shoes off and I went barefoot. And then I sat down and I stopped and I had my picnic. Just as Anne Murray might say in her song, The Teddy Bear's Picnic, if you go down to the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go down in the woods today, you better go in disguise. For every bear that ever there was will gather there for certain, because today is the day the teddy bears have their picnic. So I stopped for a moment to feast upon the fears, bare feet on the ground. digesting the fears, transforming them within me so that I could see the beauty of the present moment and not to run away anymore from my fears. Instead of fearing the bears, become the bear. Become the huntress, the stalker of your own fears, and know with the great wisdom of your intuition that you can feast upon them, transforming them into the hidden powers you had always forgotten that you had. Walking barefoot in the forest, to walk as a great bear on the path to find the honey, the sweetness and richness of all of life's gifts. Now, it wasn't so easy, and I wasn't completely cured as I came out the other side of that particular forest, but I had to face practicing this fear and facing this fear every time I went into a woods along the way of the pilgrimage, because it happened several times. And each forest that I went into, I knew that I would come out transformed on the other side. And I went in and I could feel the fear arising, and then I would stop and I would breathe and I would observe the beauty around me, see what the forest had to offer that day, and then continue walking and cultivating the journey, the path within me. And sometimes it did actually lead to me liberating my voice and singing in the forest as well. And this is how powerful it is when you face your fears and you unlock these parts of yourself. Often I find that I just break into song. When I'm really in resonance with my soul, these songs just start coming through me. And this is why I'm including them in some of my songs in this podcast, but also I'm in the making of new songs as well at the moment, and some of the songs I will be recording, one of them will be actually from the pilgrimage, one that just came through me. So that's also really beautiful to honour these creations that come through us when we have breakthroughs and we're breaking through into reclaiming those parts of ourselves. So I had to cultivate this stopping, breathing, watching and feeling the beauty and letting the soul come through and relaxing through the fear. And on the final forest that was on the way from Santiagodecompostela to Finisterre, it was like, oh, this is the final stretch of forest. And I could feel myself speeding up again. And I was like, no, I don't need to speed up to get to the end. Just stop. Your pilgrimage is going to be over soon. Stop. This is the final stretch of forest. And I could feel that when I stopped and through the trees, I could see the sea that started appearing in the distance. And I could feel that I had broken through this threshold of fear. And now that I was in a stronger place of supporting myself to journey in the outside world as well as in the inside world. And that is how powerful creating really beautiful life experiences for us can be. So things that really bring change into your life. So you might want to consider that instead of instead of going on a holiday and sitting on a beach somewhere, you might think, actually, I'm going to create an adventure for myself to take myself to the next level of my magnificence, because you've created a life experience that enables you to activate greater passion and joy and change within yourself. So let's continue. What happens if you actually meet danger in the forest? This is also a good question, and here, because we're looking at the mystery and magic, sometimes there is this energy of danger that comes in the forest, the unknown, and the having to make a choice in difficult situations. And obviously this can happen at any time of your life. So I also brought to my attention, whilst I was preparing for this podcast, one of the cards, one of the portraits that I have drawn for my oracle deck, and it is a card that represents the Witch of the Woods. And in her hands she is holding 2 gifts for you to choose from, 2 different pathways for you to go in the forest. And this is also the deep teachings of the feminine to offer you choices. Which path are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to see, or are you going to choose to ignore? Are you choosing to go deep, or are you choosing for comfort? So there's all these different choices along the way. And sometimes, all this unknown space, we don't know if we're going to meet danger, but, we don't know where these paths lead us. But you have to dare to take a new path, to make change if that's what you desire. So sometimes this Witch of the Woods, she can present questions. Does it lead you to further fear or entrapment if you take this route? Does it make you feel like a victim? Are you fear of failure? Or is there a path that leads to love and freedom, that leads to the aspect of the heroine within you, that leads to the feeling of victory within you? And there's also, sometimes the paths do not look as they seem. Sometimes the only way out is to really go in. And sometimes there's a light path, but nothing changes, or there's just continuing different problems. There's the comfortable path that might look like the light path, but actually the dark path, the difficult path, is sometimes the quickest path, even though you have to go through difficulties to get there. So how do you know all of this? This is why intuition is so fundamentally important, and cleansing the resonance of intuition within you, and the solar plexus and the deep inner guidance, all of that is profound guidance to help you on your journey. So these energies of the witch that we can also, that we can find in the forest, these are powerful energies of resilience, of helping you find your way, helping you find the magic within you that guides you through anything. And so I will ask, what magic is needed on your path to help you find your path, your way a little bit better today? So where is the truth? And where is the truth of that which is forbidden, that needs to be found? And where is the path that leads to greater love? So let's turn our attention to Baba Yaga, for in every archetype or legendary character there are always teachings to help you on your way through danger, through difficult situations, and we can take this wisdom and take out of it what resonates for you. So here, Baba Yaga, she is from the Slavic folklore, enigmatic and ambiguous, and actually she has 2 roles. She has a dark and a light side. So the first is the repulsive, witch-like energy, the ferocity, the ugliness, and the wanting to eat children. Now, what does that actually mean in this legendary archetypal Baba Yaga? Well, this is perhaps a hint of this we find in the stories such as Hansel and Gretel and Snow White and the witch and the woman of the woods that wants to devour your innocence. Actually, what can we get from that? It's asking the transformation of innocence to grow from the child to the adult, to grow up in essence, and taking an initiation to take responsibility for your life, to transform from the young girl into a woman or the young boy into a man. And that is also what the wisdom of the forest shows us every time we choose to go on a journey. That sometimes we don't want to face that repulsiveness, that ferocity, what makes us scared, what we consider dangerous. because we don't dare for the transformation, because we fear losing part of ourselves. But actually, we can take our innocence, we can take our joy, we can take that with us as we grow up. It doesn't mean that we'll be, childish, but we can keep that childlike, innocent essence of joy as we grow up and transform. So that's the first side, this ferocious, repulsive side that can be quite scary sometimes, of the Baba Yaga archetype legend. And the other side is that she's a nice old woman, a wise woman who helps the hero complete the journey. And this is the essence of the Mother Earth, the forest woman, the medicine woman, the elder, the indigenous innate wisdom that can be found in every part of nature. So this is the nature woman who knows the forest wildlife, who knows the paths and can guide you. So this part of the archetype within you is the invitation of the magic of transformation and of soulful inner guidance, and to meet the adult face of love inside of you, and to perhaps return to that journey where the adult you now meets the child part of you to say, we're doing this together. So this can be some profound inner healing of taking the journey to retrieve those parts of your inner child that were once lost or banished to the forest, to retrieve that joy and that loving heart back again. So this is also the essence of the medicine woman and the true energy of the Mother Earth, forest woman wisdom, the true energy of the witch, that she who helps and supports and guides life, being guided by the loving heart of returning to nature and returning and relaxing into the innate intuitive wisdom that is within you. So as I was preparing for this podcast, I asked a great friend of mine who is an amazing medicine woman. I asked her the other day for some forest wisdom because she's a medium for the spirits of the herbs and flowers, the plants and the trees. And she's also a great mentor for me as well. She's from the Netherlands. And I love working with her and learning from her. And she's such a great mentor. And she said, oh yes, the forest. And then Baba Yaga, she said, oh, there's Baba Yaga. Okay. And then she paused, and then there's a beautiful channeling that came through. So I want to share that with you now. There are always lights in the forest, but you have to go underground, into the mycelium, into the consciousness. It is never dark. There is always light. You must be willing to go into the ground. You can't come to the ground without coming to the soil and to the roots of the trees in the forest. Then you can fly high to visit all dimensions. But you have to start in the roots and the mycelium. It is beautiful, and you are connected with everything. And when you are scared, dive deeper, they say. She then goes on to say, they show me the image of energies of people coming via the roots, coming up to the crown. Then you can take a leap of faith to visit other dimensions. It is where your soul gifts are. But first things first, into the soil, dirt, mud. Like you are becoming the nutrients, melting down, dissolving into nutrient particles to be absorbed by the mycelium, the roots and the enzymes. Then you can travel up through the tree, up to the crown, and you will become your innate self. So I'm really grateful to my beautiful friend and medicine woman for this channeling to share in this podcast today, and to give guidance on the wisdom of the transformational journey to reach your highest potential, and only then create a new reality based on that light in which you are rooted into the earth, that deeply rooted soul essence. So Baba Yaga teaches us once again on another level of teaching of the deep feminine principles of life, death and rebirth, the surrender to the dark, to find the light, and to trust that you can take the journey into the dark corners of the soul, because this is where there is fertile soil, and this is from here that you can grow up again into the light and visit new realities of which perhaps you've never even seen before, new levels of light and joy. So the invitation is to go into the forest and to face yourself, find yourself in the wild and the dark, and to connect to the mycelium, connect to the consciousness, the network of light that is even in every darkest corner. There is always light in the underworlds and in the undergrounds. And the trees are there to support us and to show us that when we are deeply rooted, we can grow tall and high. As above, so below. So let us let the wisdom of the trees lead the way, perhaps on your own medicine woman journey, to follow the wisdom of the trees, perhaps dieting with herbs indigenous to our lands, letting the spirits of the trees speak to you, through you, learning the lost wisdom of our lands here, of your lands there, wherever you are. To learn how to be with nature, to learn how to be with the energy of nurture, and cultivate sacred protection of the sacred land of the body of which you live, and the sacred natural habitats of this earth that are so important for us to remember who we truly are. So today I offer you a free journey. It's called the Sacred Tree audio journey, and I created it again in another art project called Woodland Springs, where I wrote this piece where I connected deeply with the essence and the deep murmuring undergrounds and the deep root energies of the trees that helped me connect really deeply into this woodland forest energy. So I created this audio called The Sacred Tree, and you can download it for free from my website, and I'll put the link below there. I'll also put the link in the connection to my beautiful medicine woman friend in the Netherlands. So you can download this Sacred Tree audio and connect more deeply into the roots of your own consciousness and the light that streams through you when you connect with the dark, fertile soil that is within you, and to let that energy flow, and connecting to the elements. So yeah, sign up for the Sacred Tree audio journey. It's really my pleasure to offer you this gift. And you'll also receive my newsletter as well, with invites and inspiration and all the brilliant things I'm offering to help you become your own greatest guide, so that I can share the inspirational journeys that I've been on and inspire you to take greater journeys into the source of your own magnificence and your innate intelligence. So I'll put the link below for that. And yeah, here's a little taster for you now. Hold me in your hand, dear tree. dear life that cradles as you nourish, grown from the mysteries of the land. Reach into the realms that flourish, where only you can see me in your arms, dear tree. Your hand of love and nurture embraces me so safe and secret, hidden above land, hidden in your palm. So if you go into the woods today, you may be taken by surprise because you never know who you will meet and look you in the eyes. I was having my hair cut the other day, and my friend, who is the hairdresser, she actually said, "Oh yeah, my husband went on a men's group, and they went to this woodland, and one of them was taking discreet photographs of the men's circle, and when he looked back at them, they could see that there was this spirit in the picture of this horned woman, this cloaked woman, this energy of this guardian of the woods." It felt like, she said, that it was this amazing spirit that was just appeared in those photographs. So you never know what kind of woodland or forestry spirit that you might meet on your way that will help guide your journey. And when you are open to the magic and mystery of nature, the guidance that it can bring you. So when you open up, what miracles and magic is awaiting for you as you roam and realm into the realming realms of the journey with the forest. So let's just ask a few questions to wrap up here now. So facing the fears of the forest, leaning into these questions that could open up to help you take the next leap of faith into the next transformational journey on your path of life. So I invite you to turn the tables on any limiting beliefs that you have created as blockages that stop you from fulfilling your dreams, stop you from taking that journey, creating that experience that would take you to the next level. So where are your comfort zones that are holding you back? And the invitation is to lean in and lean into, step over the threshold of going into the forest that is within you and facing the magic and the mystery of the transformation of the realm that is you. And what greatness are you preventing by refusing to take the next level of your journey? What is the transformation that is calling that you keep ignoring? Because it will not go away. It will just get louder and louder and louder. So I really hope that this podcast is inspiring you to take the leap of faith, cross the threshold, and transform any fear into excitement for greater change, where your gifts come more alive. You create a new journey and retrieve parts of you that you had banished. Bring them out into the light and connect deeply into that light that is within you, within your body, the mycelium network that you are, because your body is also like the tree of life. So how are you connecting into your body, into the earth, into the blood and the bones and the magnetic vibrations of your electromagnetic body? That is your own mycelium network. That is your own light grid activation within your own body. And do you need to get into nature more so that you can feel this connection to the fertile soil that gives you space to grow and grow something new inside of you, to create a new greater cycle of life. Thank you for joining me on this podcast today, and let's make this world a more magnificent place by daring to take ourselves on journeys that we have never taken ourselves before. Let's make this world a world filled with unstoppable, heart-centered trailblazers, because your life is your own masterpiece and your story matters. So below you will see the links to my work. Like and share this podcast with everybody that you know who might love to listen and be taken on a journey and receive a transmission from this podcast. And if you would like to work with me, then sign up for my mailing list, get in touch and get inspired. And for now, I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast today. May you live your magnificence today and beyond. Lots of love, and see you soon for another episode of She Lives.